it right
Yeah, I
there.
got 'em all.
Oh, okay. Okay, it's Tuesday, September 5th, on or about 7:20 in the evening. I'd like to open the business meeting for the Georgetown Zoning Board of Appeals. This board will conduct this meeting according to rules laid out in Chapter 40A of the General Laws of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Robert's Rules of Order, and its own particular set of rules entitled Rules of Procedure, a copy of which is on file with the town clerk. Another copy is available from the clerk at this meeting. This meeting is being recorded for the purpose of taking minutes. First order of business is new business.
Okay.
Patty, you want to start with that?
Okay, yeah, under finance, we have warrants, there's 3 for WB Mason, and they're separated out because, there was some back-ordered items. So you can do that as one amount of $86.72. Then we have the Schwab stamp, that's the zoning receipt stamp that lasts for 5 years, that's $62, same price we paid 5 years ago. And then the last minute, today, if you can get to the, sheet that shows the town meeting FY18 budget, it's right after the Schwab stamp invoice.
Okay.
I highlighted it for you, so we had $860 in our expense account, and they cut it $640, so now we have $220, which will be 0 after tonight. Because, I'm also putting, if you go to.
Which account is that, though? That's
our expense account they gave us about 3 years ago.
Yeah,
So we're not gonna receive phone bills anymore.
it's good.
So they took that money out for the phone bills.
So
It's
we
covered
don't
by
really
town.
know how it's gonna work out yet, as far as,
We'll see,
right,
yeah.
okay.
So after tonight, all these, so I decided to take, if you go to the next page, which is the postage meter worksheet. The West Main Street, the hearing tonight came to $55. We gotta maintain a $50 balance in there, so we got 129, so I've said, well, let's take what's left of the expense account, 7128, and put it in the postage, zero that out, and everything from here on in for the rest of the fiscal year will come out of revolving like it used to. So those are the warrants.
All right.
Okay,
So we've reviewed the warrants. They've been passed out beforehand, so there's gonna be two motions, right? Dave, you wanna?
3, one for
Three.
WB Schwab and one for postage.
One for postage, I'm sorry, okay.
I'd like to make a motion to pay WD Mason a total of $86.72 for office supplies out of the expense account.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor.
Second.
Seconded by Paul. Any discussion on this? Nope. This actually includes,
There's
3 different.
three invoices,
Right.
right?
Yep.
Yeah, there was a pens ordered separate and a back ordered calendar, that's
Okay,
why.
those 3. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
None opposed, so that motion carries. Thank you, Dave. Next one.
Next motion I'd like to make is to pay Schwab Inc. for a new zoning received stamp in the amount of $62 out of the expense account.
Second.
Thank you, Sharon. Any discussion on that one?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Last one.
Last one is I'd like to make a motion to deposit $71.28 in the postage meter account.
Second.
Thank you, Sharon. Any discussion on that one? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and then right after those, thank you, is the revolving. It usually gets done the middle of July, so, if you look at the first one, that's what we ended with, $12,184.38. That carries over, I balanced with the town accountant on 7/19/17, now carries over to fiscal 18. If you look at the second page, so for the year ending fiscal 17, amount spent to date, fees to date, it's a difference of $25, about $25, so we're almost even, where usually we spend much more than we take in, so I think raising the fees helped, and,
Right
it was
on target.
103.5 of revolving hours. And then there's Mary's printout to show you that I did balance with her. And then there's
Do
your.
you have any idea how many applicants we had over that 12-month period? God, it can't be more than about 10,
um,
because we didn't even have one every month. We have a hearing every month.
Right, there were a lot of people, this last year and when I was not here, there was a lot of, there's been a ton of inquiries and people coming in and sitting down and going over plans, and then they come back and they leave and they don't come back.
Huh.
So that's why the major ones we had
Scaring
was,
them away,
was like
Patty.
the water tower.
As long as they pay us
You know, the
first.
water tower,
Yeah, those are big
Yep.
ticket items.
yeah,
Yep, okay.
Montauk Way.
You keep a log
But-
though, at the,
The town report is kind of like my,
yeah, at the
my
end of
log.
the year.
Yeah.
Yep, cool.
And so fiscal 18, we start out with 12,184.38.
Okay.
We will be, Mello will be coming in, that will be a nice chunk to deposit, because they need floodplain, water resource, special permit. So that'll be about $26.50. So, that's coming in. And that's it.
Okay, so the business minutes we're gonna pass until next
Yes.
meeting because Gina and Dave are not here, and the three of us
Yes.
need to work on those.
And then you have,
So we have a letter from the building inspector.
you have the letter, the denial letter for tonight for Novak Organ Company, and then the denial letter for Jason Mello. And I have a meeting with his attorney, McCann and McCann of Danvers, on September 12th, and to review the application, the plans, and hopefully get the application signed by the town administrator, because the town is the owner, Mello is the
Mhm.
lessee. And she'll probably file it by the end of September, which will bring it to the November 7th hearing.
So who's gonna submit that plan, that, that application?
The lessee, the Mello.
And who's
So the
gonna
town should
represent
sign
the
it.
town? Is that gonna be?
Nancy McCann and McCann of Danvers.
Okay,
She'll be representing them.
and Mike's
And we've
involved
worked
as
with her
well, I
before,
assume?
yes.
Mike is the one that's gonna,
Yep, and I even, I booked the second floor meeting room just to go over next Tuesday. And the last one is just a memo, same attorney, McCann and McCann, from Les. Just, she wanted a zoning determination on the parish road development. And it's mostly planning, it's an OSRD, but if they didn't go that way, there are other things that, which is kinda strange on the second page, cause if you're doing an OSRD, you usually don't go to zoning, so he just kinda wrote it out for informational purposes.
okay. Do we have any new applications to distribute, or?
No, that's what I
Old
was
business?
just saying, I don't have anything, I have ones floating out there, I don't think they'll meet the September 7th legal ad newspaper deadline for October 3rd.
Okay. That's
If
mellow.
something happened to come in, I could probably squeeze it in for October if I use the Newburyport Daily News. But right now I have architects that I'm talking to on the phone that are just working on plans, and they're not ready, they're just not ready.
Okay. Well, we have about a minute and a half to kill before, we can start the,
And actually, the clock's a little
hearing?
slow, but
A closed
Yeah.
business?
looks closed.
yeah, do we have anything else to discuss for business? Anybody have anything else you need to discuss, or are we all set for this month?
I'm all set.
We may cancel next month's meeting if it's not necessary, but you'll,
Yeah, I wanna wait till the actual deadline, because if we can maybe, cause I don't want everything to hit November 7th. Cause I don't want someone sitting through the transfer station and then an
Yeah,
accessory
okay.
apartments behind it, you know, so if I can get them to, squeeze it in and use the other newspaper that has a shorter deadline than the Georgetown Record, we can do that, so we'll be up in the air right now.
Okay, we have anything else for the meeting? Maybe we wanna have a motion to close the business meeting?
I'd like to make a motion to close the business meeting.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we'll close the meeting, and we'll leave the TV going. If you wanna come on up, it's just
Come on
about
up,
7:30,
Didier.
so we'll kinda jump right into tonight's hearing.
This is Didier Grasson. How you doing?
How are you? Hello again. Do you have anything to prepare? Are you all set to get started?
Hope
whenever
so.
we are? Okay.
I put the plans,
So-
do you wanna go sit right
Yep,
by the
I can-
plans
I can
there?
do that.
You
That's
can move
easy.
them closer if you like.
And you can move that a little closer, as long as the camera can pick them up, that camera. There you go.
Paul,
Come
could
on
you
up.
put your glasses on? Do you mind reading the,
Sure. I have an extra set if you
I'm
want.
gonna open this first.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So I'll go ahead and open the hearing for 34 West Main Street. And first I'd like to just introduce some members. Again, this is Sharon Freeman. This is Paul, Dave, and I'm Jeff. And we'll all be regular members tonight voting on your special permit. So, Paul, could you read the legal ad for me?
Yep. A public hearing will be held on September 5th, 2017 at 7:30 at the Georgetown Town Hall, third floor meeting room for an application filed by owner Didier Grasson of NOAC, Oregon Company Incorporated, for the property located at 34 West Main Street, Georgetown, Mass. Assessors map 11A, lot 35 in the CA zone. The owner requires a finding and special permit pursuant to Georgetown zoning bylaws, chapter 165, sections 9, 74-79, and 94, and Mass General Law 40A, section 6 and 9, to build a second-story addition to the pre-existing non-conforming structure where the minimum required setback is 20 feet. If abutting a residential property. Also found on the website for a Mass Newspaper Publishers Association, blah, blah, blah. That's all you need. Thank you.
All right, thanks, Paul. Didier, is that, okay, thank you, I just wanna make sure I pronounce it right. Why don't you go ahead and give us a presentation on what your plans are? I know we've sort of gone through this before, a couple of months ago, but
we need to do
for
it
the record, we'll do it
properly
one more
and
time.
formally. Well, thank
And
you
I
again.
also wasn't here. so
Oh,
I
Sharon
missed
wasn't here.
that
Okay,
And nor
good.
was I.
Well, then
I wasn't either.
nothing.
He just
Oh, you
came to
weren't either,
see if he
okay.
actually needed an application.
Got it, okay.
So first, thank you very much for hearing my appeal. I am Didier Grassin. I'm the owner and president of the NOAC Organ Company. The NOAC Organ Company has been actually in Georgetown for more than 50 years. We manufacture pipe organs, which are been sent actually more than the nation, because we have even instruments all around the world in Japan and Iceland. I took over from Fritz Noack a few years ago. The firm is employing 9 people, and we are operating from the old school, which was this brick building at the corner of School and Main Street, which is built in 1864. Fritz Noack, who had purchased the property back in 1960, in 1970 added an extension. So if you have here the overall master plan of the property, which is about this shape, this represents the original building, which had actually only 1-story addition done, I don't know when, at some point. And here is the 1970 extension done by Fritz Noack. Between those two buildings, there's only this section which is a 1-story, and what I would like to do is to actually build a second story, because we are a little bit cramped in the manufacturing of our buildings. So hence my approaching the town hall, and I was told that unfortunately it does not fulfill all the regulations of setbacks. Hence me coming today and asking that you would authorize building that second story. It doesn't change anything on the footprint of the building. I'm just building between those two buildings to bring them at the same level.
Okay, good. Do you guys have any questions?
So the front and the back are the same height and the middle is lower.
Right.
Yeah, I think if you wanna, bring your
Yes,
attention
I
to
can-
the other
I can
plan.
actually-
Flip that
yes,
up.
Let
Oh, I
let me
see.
just move that so you'll have it.
That'll make snow removal easier.
So,
Right?
what
It's got a
this is the
Yes.
Original 1864
Sure, the brick
building. This
part.
is a 1970
Yeah.
extension. In black was that section here, which exists right now, and in red, what I would like to do, just linking those two buildings
It's adding a second story to the existing.
on the existing.
And yet it's not as high as either the
No,
front or
it
the
would not
back.
be as high actually, as
Flat
high
roof?
as the original building.
Flat roof.
It will be yes, because right now we have a flat roof, we have a
Right.
rubber roof. So we'll probably do a small pitch and something like
Just for the snow alone, 'cause it's gonna.
The interesting thing about the project that we discussed last time is, the interesting thing about the lot actually is that the side setback is actually 0 in this district, but for the fact that you abut a residential property, in which case there's a note in the schedule that indicates that 20 feet is required.
I see.
And what's also interesting is that the proposed work, and please correct me if I'm wrong, is actually 20 feet, plus or minus. It's approximately 20 feet from the setback. It's the existing section added in 1970 that is currently at 10 feet, and that's not changing. Is that?
That's correct.
So if that section didn't exist already, the other piece that you're not even touching, if that didn't exist, you wouldn't be here, because
Exactly.
you would actually meet the setback. So the
Huh.
addition actually meets the setback, and I don't mean to put words in your mouth, but I think that's where we were. So
Yeah.
there were a couple of things. And it's not a residence, this is not a residential structure. So it doesn't fall under the pre-existing non-conforming
Ah.
exemption for 1 and 2 family
I see.
Mhm.
structures, so.
I'm just falling down the right in the middle of the
Yeah.
regulations.
So we do have some new correspondence, so if I could pause there for a minute, and Dave, if you wanna. Came from the building inspector.
I have a letter from Georgetown Building Inspection Department, from Les Godin, Building Inspector, regarding 34 West Main Street, map 11A, lot 36, special permit application. I have reviewed the submitted plot plan in order to verify the property line setbacks shown. The applicant prepared the plan based on a record of 1 inch equals 20-foot scale survey plan obtained from the Salem Registry of Deeds, which shows the property lines and the portion of the building as it existed in 1960. The section of the building which was added in 1970 was added to the plan by the applicant. I have presumed that the building is pre-existing non-conforming because the southeasterly side yard setback is approximately 6 feet where a 20-foot minimum is required. I have verified the setback shown and have given the dimensions that are not from the result of an actual survey. I believe that the approximate dimensions shown are sufficient for the purpose intended, as no increase in the building's footprint is proposed. Please note that I reviewed the full-scale plan and that the plans before the board are at a reduced scale, which is noted on our plans.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Before we get to any other questions from the board, there's a couple folks in the audience. You guys have anything you'd like to ask the
I
board?
just happen to be the abutter.
Okay,
right
so if you
there.
if you'd
Um,
like to
name
introduce
and
yourself and,
It's Lisa Scala Cameron. SCALA dash Cameron, CAMERON.
Okay, and your address?
It's 5 Middle Street.
Okay, thank you.
I really wanted to just see what the plan was, and also so I can report back, because my mother owns 28 West Main Street, which is right there as well. We really wanted to just know what the plan was, and I certainly could have asked you, but it was,
That's
I
okay.
got the letter and came and just
Sure,
kind of figured,
absolutely.
just to hear what,
did you get a copy of the plans in
I
front of
just
you?
did.
Okay.
I just did, so I can give this to her too. Yeah, I mean, I think my questions are answered, because we kind of figured that's what it was proposing, you know.
I don't know how much longer we'll be deliberating this, but if you have anything that comes
Okay,
up,
I
feel
will.
free
I'll start
to,
with that.
raise your hand. Do you have anything you wanna add, or?
Nope.
No? Okay,
Just
Fair
wanted to
enough.
see what was going on.
okay,
I live in the neighborhood.
Okay.
good. Well, I'm glad you're here. Do you guys have any questions? about what's going on with the building or what's
I'd be
going on
hard pressed to-
inside or?
No, I don't have anything.
I have one. And, you know, from looking at your drawings, you're going straight up and there won't be any projections on the second story.
No. No, I mean, it doesn't make any, I want to make it as elegant as possible. We have quite an historical building. My wish is not to destroy it in any way. It's just trying to find a way so the space we have can be used efficiently for what we do, but also respect what is the heritage of the city.
You had mentioned part of the purpose is for maybe moving material inside.
Yeah, and we'll have a couple of benches up there. Right now we have the ground floor here is where we have benches and our machinery. So we are a little bit cramped between machinery and benches. So if I can move some benches upstairs, the light is wonderful. That room here up there is a gorgeous place to work. We've got
Oh, I
a
see.
window. So it's basically doing that.
Good.
And organs are big, so we need a bit of space.
I would imagine.
I should add, if you ever had the opportunity to come, I mean, we have right now instruments which will be shipped in 2 weeks' time, 3 weeks' time, for St. Paul's Chapel in New York City. It's quite a showy piece. We will have an open house on Saturday the 16th in the afternoon. Obviously, you're most welcome, but if you want to come at any other time, I think we are quite keen to show to the people of Georgetown what we do, because we are really part of the community.
Cool, great.
So when I've been to an open house, this is where
Yes, the 1970s
I'm
section.
not good at spatial stuff, so that's where the.
Yes,
that's where you
that
do
is
it.
where the tall player part is, and that's where we
I
put the
see.
instrument.
But you do the operation.
Yeah,
back
all the
here,
manufacturing, all the benches.
manufacturing here, and then you do the building
Yeah.
here and the disassembly.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, I've been there.
Oh, so you erect the organs and you
Yeah.
assemble to deliver?
Yeah, and that's
Oh,
why it's quite a showy
It's
piece.
super cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I'm not
Check it out.
just, sorry.
Okay, anything else from the board at this
I
point?
just had a question about what you, when you said the projection, I don't understand what you were asking.
He's not gonna build out, even though he's going straight up,
Yeah.
bottom footprint
Yeah,
remains the same. Now, if he were to go up,
yeah,
and he's right about, whatever it is, 9 feet,
yeah.
if he wanted to bump it out,
Let's talk about like
foot
an
on either
overhang or
side.
something like that.
Oh,
right?
I understand,
that would be
okay.
an issue.
That
Okay.
would increase the nonconformity.
Got it,
in
okay,
that- on that-
okay,
From that perspective, yeah.
okay.
Are these plans sufficient that you're confident that if we need to read these into the record, actually, don't
Yes,
we?
I typed that out for you.
Oh, I'm sorry, Patty.
It's there.
Right here, proposed.
Oh, okay.
And I marked.
So why don't I go ahead and do that? All right, so why don't we go ahead and read in Exhibit A, which is a plot plan dated 5/17/1960, stamped by engineer Charles H. Morrison, son of Haverhill, Mass., originally for the All Saints Church, recorded at the Registry of Deeds on 10/18/1960. That's your plot plan. And Exhibit B is the elevations of existing building and proposed buildings dated 5/15/17. We have Exhibits A and B. Are you comfortable enough with this? It's obviously not overly complicated, but you're confident that you could build within the plan submitted?
Yes.
That will be a condition of the special
Yes.
permit that we would require that the addition be per the plans attached, so. It's not overly detailed, but the dimensions are all there, so. Okay, anything else from the audience? Any other concerns or questions at this point? Okay.
I don't wanna shovel off your roof.
We'll go to board discussion, this
Would you like
point.
me to make a motion and then you go to the discussion?
We'll go to discussion first if there's anything. I think we covered sort of the technical issue here, which is that it's that larger building that you were pointing to, Sharon, that is
Mhm.
actually causing the issue because it's 10 feet where
Got
this
it.
one is required. So
Okay,
the
I
key
understand.
thing in this case is that the
Yep.
proposed addition is actually not encroaching on the setbacks,
Mhm.
as close as they can be measured within reason. So, you know, I feel that this is not substantially
This
more
meets-
detrimental, that's,
No.
Well, it meets the setback, this
Yeah,
section.
I just-
It does.
We're not adding the nonconformity, which at the time, was acceptable to me. He's not detrimental to the neighborhood, he's not increasing any way, the nonconformity.
proposed motion, okay? Anything else to add?
No, this is fine.
Okay, so there's a few findings that we need to make as a board. One is that it's appropriate to make the motion that, or to find that the property is, that the structure is pre-existing non-conforming. We have evidence of that from the building inspector, that we need to make a finding that the proposed addition is not substantially more detrimental, and that it meets the conditions of chapter 165-79, and then we would have to go ahead and grant a special permit. So if, Paul, you wanna make the appropriate motions, and we can discuss those in here.
Okay, I move the board find that the existing building located at 34 West Main Street, owned by Dieter Grassen / Nowak Organ Company Incorporated, Assessors Map 11A, Lot 35 in the CA zone, is a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Further move that the board find, in accordance with Georgetown zoning chapter 164-94, that although the proposed addition may increase the size of the structure, does not affect the area of the structure within the required setback and is not substantially more detrimental than the existing use to the neighborhood. Further move the board find that per chapter 165, section 79A through D of the Georgetown zoning bylaws, this special permit application is in fact desirable to the public convenience or welfare, will not overload any public water or other municipal services so as to unduly subject any area to hazards affecting health, safety, and the general welfare, will not impair the integrity or character of the district or adjoining districts, and will not cause an excess of that particular use which could be detrimental to the character of the neighborhood. Therefore move that the board grant a special permit to owner Dieter Grassen of Nowak Organ Company Incorporated for the proposed addition at 34 West Main Street with the following conditions, which, do we have any conditions? We do not.
That one.
Just one.
Proposed alterations per plans attached and marked exhibits A and B.
I think that's it. So,
Actually, I just came up with another question, just a thought.
Now we're in discussion.
before we second that, we'll.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can second it for discussion.
Will the second story match the first story?
In terms of,
It's a brick facade right now.
this is in discussion because it is between those two buildings. One is the brick part and the other one is cladded. I was thinking about cladding it probably. If that is an issue, I can look at brick. The advantage of cladding it would be obviously a much lighter structure. If I brick, I'm bringing a lot of
Lot more money
weight
too.
on those walls, and that obviously complicate the whole process.
I'm just curious.
The windows, according to your plans, appear that they're gonna match.
Yeah,
substantially
I think I wanted to keep the same rhythm. It felt that it felt good about it, and I am keen to have the same kind of large windows because that's what we like, the light, the natural light
Oh, you
in the
need the
workshop.
Yeah, well, it's interesting. Engineers are for. That little brick second level may not support it. So I don't have an issue.
The only thing that I don't know if it's for you or if it's for him and I to discuss, just if we could just communicate when stuff starts and that kind of thing.
Of
Because
course.
we do have therapists, and I keep my second floor fairly quiet. Nothing that you've done there so far has ever bothered anybody, so it's perfectly fine. But I'm just saying, if it is something that's a little louder, if we could just give me a little bit of a heads up, just so I can tell them,
That sounds perfectly fair to me.
yeah.
No problem.
Do you know what your schedule would be for?
Not yet, because I need to make sure that I've got all the
course.
the finance well in line.
But this year or in the spring or?
Yes, probably this coming in 2018.
Yeah, next year, probably in the spring.
Yeah.
All right, well, we have a motion on the floor.
Before, just,
Okay.
so continuing on with that, the nature of the work that you do in terms of noise level won't change once the construction is done,
No,
is that correct?
no, because
No, I'm
Essentially
saying
bigger.
construction.
Yeah, I realize that, but I
we're
just
not
wanna
bringing
make sure.
new
With the larger
machinery or
space.
no, no, no,
Okay,
no, no.
Yeah, okay,
No.
just.
The only thing noisy is the instrument when it's finished, when we ship
It's
it.
not an issue as of
No, it's
today.
actually quite
Okay.
nice. That part's not. No,
Okay.
and we hear, and we're right downtown. We don't expect to be in the quiet space. You know what I
Sure,
mean?
sure.
And we're a second floor, so we get
Yeah.
echo from everywhere. So it really hasn't been
Um,
a problem.
With
It's
the
more
larger
my
space.
But
won't
it doesn't,
change.
no,
Okay.
it doesn't mean that
Got it.
more machinery comes in, absolutely. And we try to keep a good neighborhood relationship with everybody,
Perfect.
which
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
is quite nice.
Okay, that's it.
Okay. At this point, I don't, you guys see the need to add any more conditions on this permit?
I do not.
I think that most of the plans are, like I said, they're simple, but they're straightforward, I think. everybody knows what's going on. Okay, there's a motion on the floor. Does anyone want to second that?
I'll second it.
Okay, Sharon? Got it, Patty?
And
Sharon?
just-
So, all right, so any further discussion on that?
Nope.
So we'll do a roll call vote for the special permit and the findings, so Sharon? you
Yes
vote?
and yes.
Paul?
Yes and yes.
Yes, yes.
And the chair votes yes, so 4-0. And your special permit is granted, so.
Thank you.
Let me just note that the zoning clerk has 14 days to file a decision. Any appeal of this decision shall be made pursuant to Massachusetts General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 17, within 20 days after the date the notice of decision was filed with the town clerk. Applicant may file this decision before the 20-day period, but does so at their own risk. So, if you want to wait for 20 days, it sounds like you're going to do that regardless. And I will also advise you of a lapse of a special permit that per Mass General Law, Section 40A, Chapter 40A, Section 9. Special permits granted shall lapse within a specified period of time, not more than 3 years, which shall not include such time required to pursue or await the determination of appeal referred to in Section 17, if the substantial use thereof has not sooner commenced except for good cause, or in the case of permit for construction, if construction has not begun by such date except for good cause. If you want to know what that means, you can hire an attorney and figure it all out. You can ask the building inspector, you can ask Patty. But is there going to be any substantial delay?
I got the gist of it.
Town hall and
I'll
get
talk to
some
you
advice.
Thank you very much.
Anything beyond a year or so, you ought to come in here and just make sure. Okay,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
so do I hear a motion to close the hearing?
Yes, I have everything.
I have a, I'm.
So moved.
So moved.
Yeah, thank you.
Sharon.
Second.
Thanks, Dave.
Couldn't put
All
those
those in
words
favor?
together. Aye.
Aye. Okay, hearing's closed.
Well done.
Very
Thank
good.
you.
Thank you, sir.
Good luck with your
And
best
do,
of luck.
and do come.
You will.
Do come, you will be surprised.
You
You have alcohol?
No, there's no alcohol.
One set of someone's colored plans.
Sorry about that. I
I
wish.
gave it to the.
I'll come anyways.
No, do come.
Nice to
It's,
see it, yes, I like to see what you guys are doing.
it's pretty, really, it's really spectacular.
That's great, thank you.
Thank you. Cool. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, bye, Vivian, and I'll let you know, we gotta write the decision, it takes.
Yeah, that's right. I'm not going to start the building tomorrow.
So what do you need, Patty? Did you get your plans?
Yeah, I need a set of colored plans from someone. Can you unplug that?
Someday I'll get kicked off the
Sure.
board. Been trying for years and
It's
it's
like a beige, yeah.
The old man almost.
The old man almost got you. That was close to
Yeah.
the game. Yeah, you guys right there. The old man.
Oh, gosh, you're so.
Hopefully that worked. Last time I lost the meeting.
Okay. Mr. Mayor.
You know
What'd you say about plans, Patty?
I just need, I gave you the exhibit, but I need the color set.
Yeah, you got the motion that I carefully
Thank you
drafted up.
so much with that wording, that crummy wording.
Awesome, who wrote that motion?
Oh, who
Jeff?
would've done that? Good job, Paul. Nice job, Paul gets all
I
the credit.
sent Jeff
I just work in the
tiny
background.
pieces and he filled it all in
That
before
was
we came.
fantastic, if only we could be that prepared, every, this writing under pressure stuff